Hello and welcome to Shink Shop. So this is an end product of some geodes I cut on a wet tile saw on a previous video, and I'll shove a link in there for that. And they turned out really well. And they're not wet or anything. This is what they look like now. And they were done on this machine called a Genie, and I'll put a link for that too. I'll go ahead and show you the grits I used. This is an 80, 220, 280, 600, 1200 and 14,000. That's quite high. So these are diamond grit wheels, and they're wet, and they need to be wet to work properly, keep them cool. So I got a little sprayer here. It's a little bubble sprayer, and then I'll do a little pre-wetting with my hand. You see it kind of gets it wet faster. And I also notice it doesn't hurt your fingers. You'd have to get on the edge of the wheel and really dig in to make it hurt your fingers, but it will cut your fingernails really well. So keep fingernails away, and your flesh is usually pretty safe. Okay, so I showed you that rock a second ago. Apologize, I didn't pause on it a little longer, but it had quite a bit of scratches from the tile saw, which you can imagine. And so I will start on the 80, which will get rid of those really big those big scratches. I apologize. And then slowly work my way down, because the 80 will make scratches in the rock too. But then we'll use the 220 to get rid of the scratches of the 80. Now the 220 I'm going to spend a little more extra time because it's such a big jump for the 220, and so but that you can make that big jump. Sometimes there's a 160. I'm showing you here that that's where the scratches are showing up, and what I've done is I've dried the rock, and I can look at it under the light and you can still see the scratches. So that means I'm going to continue until those scratches are gone and I don't see them anymore and I see a finer scratch. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up for you and show you the process of going through these though. Some cool information about this machine though, it actually was my grandma's, and then my dad got it from her, and then I got it after he passed away. So it's kind of just staying in the family and doing a lot of work, using it. Have quite a bit of stuff made from it, which I'll actually show in another video. And here you see constantly getting it dry after each different wheel and grit to make sure that those scratches are gone. And the more time that you spend on it, on the lower grits, is actually helps once you get to the higher grits, because sometimes you get to the higher grit and then whoa, you're like, oh crud, I missed that scratch and I have to go back. But anyway, so as you can see, this takes quite a bit of time, a little bit of patience. But here I have to go back. So I'm going to go back a little bit and then I'll get on the other one, but I'm going to skip that. Okay, here is actually the end product after I got it back on that last one. I had to go back to the 200 grit before I could go back to the 280 before I could move to the other side. But as you can see, it's turned out real well, and there's quite a bit of difference. I'm going to give you a close-up here, see if I can get the camera man to get it good and steady. He does a good job. He's going to zoom in here. And you can see it already looks really smooth, pretty smooth. But you can still see it looks kind of foggy, and that's where these higher grits are going to start getting rid of that fogginess before we go to the final polish. I'm going to go through this really fast. I think you get the idea. You just go through each wheel, and I'm going through these higher grits. Here is the comparison after we've gone through that 14,000. You can see on the left that one has gone through all the steps and the right one hasn't. And this right here is my polisher. This was my grandma's as well. It's just outside, and I'm using some water because there's already the powder on there. The powder that I use is called a cerium oxide, and it's kind of the same exact process, and you let the cerium oxide that's in that leather cover right there, that's leather that it's kind of in, and get it nice, keep it good and wet, but just kind of let it do its work. You don't have to push hard. You just kind of keep holding it there and rubbing it back and forth, and that'll give it its final polish. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up for you as well. By speed up, I mean cut it out. So here's actually the end product, like I showed at the beginning, and they turned out really nice. I have some still photos too here at the end that I'm going to show that kind of really focuses on them, but I love the depth in these. It kind of looks like a pool of water, and they turned out really pretty. Again, these came from the Utah desert, and that's it. So keep looking for some future videos. Thanks for watching.